There's obviously been a lot of tributes have come in over the last few days. But as an England player, can you sort of tell us what Sir Bobby meant to you and pay perhaps your own tribute to him?
As a manager, never worked with him, but obviously saw what he did with his club teams all over the world, basically all over Europe, very successful. With England, hugely successful. And that's the first thing. But I think more importantly than that, I met him a few times, but once to do an interview in a hotel in London and spent about an hour with him. And he was, as I've read many pieces in the last few days about him, speaking very, very highly of him, and I was lucky enough to see that firsthand. He was exactly what everyone's saying about him now. He was a great, great man, had a real aura about him, the way he handled people. And I'm just proud that I had an hour with him actually and found out exactly what he was as a person, and what everyone's saying is completely true about him. A great man, a great manager.
He obviously gave the country some great memories in 1990 when England came the closest they have done in recent times to winning the World Cup. Was that an important tournament in your memory as a boy?
It was the first important tournament that I took real notice of. I think I remember '86 before that, but more vaguely. I think that was the time with the Bobby Robson team, with the characters of Lineker and Gaza and David Platt. It was one of my favourite goals I always remember as a kid, the David Platt goal when he spun and volleyed it against Belgium, I think, because it just sticks in my head with the importance of the goal, and that was, I think, the moment I realised what World Cups are all about. And as I said to the kids in there, Gaza was my idol as a kid, and that was him arriving on the scene. So that World Cup was firmly in my mind as my first real idea of what World Cups are all about.
How fitting would it be in 2010 for England to go one better than even Sir Bobby was able to manage, and perhaps in his memory go there and win the World Cup for him?
Of course, it'll be fantastic to do that. Obviously, first we need to get there and get a point, then we need to go and perform there and try and do that. But I think, for Sir Bobby Robson, he will be remembered forever as the manager he was and the man he was for England. And if we can go one better or whatever than he did and get to a final and hopefully win it, then it will be a great tribute to him, and it will be obviously a great achievement for all involved, I suppose. When
you look at this England side at the moment, how confident are you that they could be good enough to go and do that?
Well, I'm confident. I think we have to be careful falling into the trap, which we've done before, where people ask if you can win it and you say you can, and expectations rise. I think, of course, we can win it. We're playing as well as we have for a long time. There's a real confidence and a togetherness about the group. But there's a lot of good teams out there, so it's very important we get ourselves right this year. We qualify, we train hard, we try and keep improving. And when we go there, give it our best shot, and I think we've got a very good chance then. As I said, we need a little bit of luck and a little bit of circumstances along the way, but it's certainly possible. We can do it. The good thing about us now is I think England always had great individuals, whether they're world class or not, but it didn't always work together. And I think now what you're seeing with us is not necessarily what individual it is, but it's more about how the team's playing. And if we can go and play together as a team with the quality we have, we've got a chance.
We were talking about Italia 90 earlier, and ironically, Italy seems to have played a big part in your career, one way or another. You were signed by Ranieri at Chelsea, and then you've now got an Italian manager for both club and country. Are you seeing some similarities between them?
There are similarities between them. I think there's a real ethic between Italian managers, and Italian thought on football is pretty similar. They're very organised. They work very hard on organising the team, pressing very hard, trying to win the ball back, being hard to beat first and foremost, and then playing good football. I love the Italian mentality of football. I think they're winners. I think that's why Italy will always be thereabouts in all major tournaments, because they're winners as a group, and they've all had big influences on me. Ranieri when he signed me, Capello as an England manager in the short time, and Ancelotti hopefully will have a big influence. And in the few weeks I've worked with him, I already get the sense that he will have a big influence on me and the team, I think.
Do you see any similarity as characters between Capello and Ancelotti?
Only in their toughness and their willingness to succeed. I don't know, in football tactics I'm not quite sure yet. I think they're slightly different than that, but I think there is a real, when you see them, you know that they're very determined people. So I think that is probably the major similarity I've seen so far, and that's probably the reason why they've been so successful at a huge club like the pair of them have been, winning Champions Leagues and leagues at AC Milan.